Hi, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Angela show with everyone's favorite OBGYN, Dr. Angela Jones. Have you ever been just too embarrassed or shy to ask your own doctor a question about your, private stuff? Well, you have come to the right place to get straight answers. Feel free to ask Dr. Angela anything women's health related. OBGYN, she keeps it real. Pregnancy, she knows what you're expecting. Whole body health, just ask. Dr. Angela has you covered, girl. And now here is Dr. Angela.
This is Dr. Angela, everyone's favorite OBGYN, and I would like to welcome you to episode 3 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast, where we discuss everything from fashion, family, politics, and a sprinkling of medicine to top it off. I keep it light, I keep it fun, I keep it very simple. Before we dive into things, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for tuning in today. Today's question comes to us from Megan.
Hey, Dr. Angela, it's Megan and Joseph, baby Joseph here. So excited for your new podcast. Just had a brief question for you. And with the baby being 3 weeks old and Nick and I over the moon excited about our new life and our new adventure, we are looking to find out when and how soon after a C-section would be a safe enough time and a healthy enough time to potentially try again to have a second baby. Whenever you could get back to us, that'd be great. I'm sure we'll see you in the office soon, and I hope your podcast works out great. We're so excited for you, and we're so excited for your future to come with everything. Thank you so much for being an awesome doctor and being who you are. We love it. Have a good day.
Megan, first of all, thank you so much for the kind words. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege taking care of you during your pregnancy, and I'm so happy that you had an amazing outcome. Your baby boy is amazing. Getting right to your question, when to have another child is a very personal decision. Certainly, you have to take a lot of things into consideration, ranging from your age, your health, how large of a family you want, and whether or not you have the financial resources and the support to care for another child. From a medical standpoint, certainly having a baby too soon can put you at risk for certain things, i.e. having a baby less than 12 months apart can certainly put you at an increased risk for things like placental abruption, placenta previa, preterm labor, and certainly having a low birth weight infant. If you are someone that has previously had a cesarean section and you are entertaining a VBAC as your next mode of delivery, if you deliver less than 18 months from that previous C-section, you certainly are going to be at an increased risk for uterine rupture. On the flip side of that, Megan, on the other end of the spectrum, certainly having pregnancies that are too far apart, and typically we consider 5 years to be too far apart, you certainly put yourself at an increased risk for things like high blood pressure, again, preterm birth, and low birth weight for baby. You want to give yourself an adequate amount of time to recover between pregnancies, because pregnancy in and of itself takes a huge toll on your body, in between breastfeeding and all of the changes that your body went through in order to sustain a pregnancy. You do have to give your body an adequate amount of time to recover. Not only your body, but you also need to give yourself an adequate amount of time to recover from not just a physical standpoint, but from an emotional and even a spiritual standpoint. Once we get our kids out of the infancy stage, you really have to consider, how quickly you are going to want to re-enter into those, late nights, breastfeeding, all of those things that can be associated with dealing with the newborn. Megan, I certainly hope that this has been helpful in answering your question. Because we did feature your question on today's podcast, my assistant will be reaching out to you to gather your information, and we will be sending you an Ask Dr. Angela t-shirt. For those of you that are listening, if you would like to have your question featured on the Ask Dr. Angela podcast, please visit us at www.askdrangela.com. That's AskDrangela.com. You can ask your question right on the home page by clicking on the microphone on the right-hand side, and leaving your question. In closing, we are going to wrap up today's show with an inspirational quote. This quote is from an unknown individual, and it states, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Until next time, look better, feel better, be better. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you on the next episode of Ask Dr. Angela.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. For more information on women's health and the show notes for this episode, please visit Dr. Angela at www.askdrangela.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave your own message for Dr. Angela. See you soon! All of the information provided and discussed in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not take the place of consulting a physician. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases or illnesses and does not and should not replace treatment for a medical professional. Listening to and participating in this podcast does not create a doctor-patient relationship between you and Dr. Angela Jones. If you need medical advice or assistance, you should consult a physician. Listening to and participating in this podcast is subject to the terms and conditions posted at drangela.com/terms.